I have two announcements I need to make, and I rarely do these announcements, but just bear with me, please. So the first thing here is for those who have been inquiring, I'm no longer giving out private readings. I do have a colleague, her name is Bridget, that I work with, and I trust her skills tremendously. So if you'd like to book a reading for yourself or for anybody that you know, please click on the link in the description box below to get to her website and also the scheduling website so that you can book an appointment with her. She is a psychic. She is very talented, and I've consulted with her over the years, and she is phenomenal. So I highly, highly vouch for her. The second announcement here, I apologize for the delay with your reading. This month has been just a whirlwind of activities for me, and I was not able to do your reading as well as with. I saw two images for you. The first is I see a spinning top. Okay, it's spinning and it has like a spiral pattern on it, and it's spinning in circles. And when I was looking at this, I was thinking about, something going around and round and round in circles. It could be patterns of doing, patterns of communication, patterns of like issues and things like that coming up possibly in a relationship. This spread is very relationship oriented, by the way. So it's like we're back to square one. We're going around in circles. It's a merry-go-round. When is this going to improve? When are things going to get better? At the same time, the spinning top also indicates to me a situation where there's a very delicate balance, right? So the top has to, pick up momentum, pick up speed in order to keep spinning. Otherwise, it would kind of topple over. And so there's a balance, a very, very delicate balance of things that you are trying to kind of like gather and keep afloat and keep, keep all your it's almost like keep all your responsibilities, your identities too, as a worker, as a parent, as a lover, as a relationship partner, as a brother, as a sister, whatever it is, these myriad of identities, ways in which you identify yourself and all the things that are important and the people that are important in your life. You're trying to keep everything spinning, keep everything afloat so that things don't topple over. And then it also coincides with the second message. I see a table with like a white linen tablecloth, and there are these flowers. They look like, flowers that somebody gathered from their garden. They're kind of mismatched, a bunch of wildflowers, a rose, some daisies, some I'm also seeing I don't know what they're called, peonies, and just a bunch of wildflower. They're loosely gathered, and then some of them are tied up, and then others are kind of like on the side, okay? So once again, it's all about, handling the things that are important to you, and they're just lying on the tabletop without a vase, without a source of water. So I feel like this is a reminder for you to take care of the things and the people that are very, very important in your life and not neglect them. Okay, so those are the two images, and how do they tie in with this reading? Once again, it is very relationship oriented, and I do see a couple, not only a couple, a very powerful couple. So I have here the King of Wands, and this is the Queen of Wands. Okay, so same suit, same energies, which denotes to me some type of a significant relationship. So this is like a couple that's married, a couple that's living together, a couple that is, official. Okay, so I feel like for those of you in significant relationships, I feel like there are some communication issues between you and your partner. And it could be very mild, like, somebody thinking that the other person might be looking elsewhere for another relationship. Somebody who might, one or both parties might be attracted to outside relationships. One person wants to have a little bit more fun, date night, going out. Let's plan something to re-inject that passion and the chemistry back into this relationship. And then the other party is just like, oh, I'm too busy. I'll leave it alone. I'll do it another day. So you or your partner might be feeling either of these things. And I feel like somebody wants, to socialize a little bit more, to expand, to do like more date nights, to do more double dates, to hang out with the friends, and let's go out and hang out with our friends. Let's do more social activities. And the other person is a little bit more reclusive. The other person might be a little bit busier with work, with responsibility. So I do see that element coming into the picture. I'm also seeing, even if you're no longer together and you have children, I'm also seeing differences when it comes to parenting style, when it comes to disciplining the children, when it comes to who's taking care of what. I have, if it's like a blended family type of a relationship, it's sort of like, I don't want to overstep my boundaries by disciplining your kids, or, somebody doesn't want to overstep their boundaries when it comes to like parenting, mainly because they don't know what's appropriate. They don't know that they don't want to step on anybody's toes. They don't want to assume the role of the parent if the relationship is new, or if they just don't feel like they have the right to discipline children. Okay, so I see this element here. I feel like there is, if there has been, accusations and things like that about third parties, if there's insecurities about, are you still in love with me? Are you seeing somebody else? Are you attracted to somebody else? I feel like there has been this kind of merry-go-round. This is a recurring situation. This is a recurring conversation that you're having with your partner, about like whether or not there is a third party, whether or not you're interested in somebody else outside the relationship. So there has been a little bit of a stalemate. Okay, so this is the card for like bare naked truth, bold, brazen communication that's coming into the picture. And I feel almost like some information is coming to light. You're finding out how your partner feels. You're also finding out, like, if they've been feeling insecure, they're letting it be known to you. And so it's really important for you, if you care about the relationship, to, keep things going, keep things moving, keep things afloat, and to, gather up those flowers and put them in a vase and care for them and protect them and put them near sunlight and allow them, the necessary sunlight, water, whatever it is, in order to nurture it, in order for it to thrive. So regardless, I feel like some of you are in a really beautiful relationship where there is a lot of passion, there is a lot of love, and a lot of the times too, these things tend to get put on the back burner when we are very, very busy with practical responsibilities, work, parenting, just life in general. So there is a strong message here to really urge you, if it's important, if it's somebody you really care about, you want to make sure you take the time. You want to make sure that you do things, because love and relationships in any capacity, it's always a two-way street. So if somebody is telling you, hey, I really want to do this, I really want to go to the circus, I really want to go to the zoo, I really want to have date night, I really want to, um, um, go out to the beach at night and just, stroll along the beach, and you're just like, I don't know if that's the right weather for it, and I don't know if I have the time. But you have to really prioritize the things that matter, and you have to take into account, what your relationship partners want. I feel like some of you have recently gotten out of some type of an argument or some type of a battle with a relationship partner. So it's at that period of time where there's like, passion and that honeymoon phase all over again. It's that, kiss and makeup type of a phase. But then I feel like something has not been completely 100% resolved. So it's sort of like two people who might be arguing, right? And it's like the same issue over and over again, and they go through a period where they're not talking to each other, and then some one person kind of gives in and texts or calls the other person, and says like, I miss you. And then the other person's like, I miss you too. And there's, kind of like a coming together, making up. But then the underlying issues have not been properly addressed. And so somebody's in a period where they're still, it's like the elephant still in the room. The elephant is still in the room. It hasn't been properly addressed. And you're both kind of still walking around on eggshells with one another, not wanting to mess up the peace, um, not wanting to, I want to say, like, it's like that really sweet makeup phase where you just want to enjoy each other's company again after a long period of hiatus, right? And so you don't want to back around. And I do feel there is a little bit of defensiveness from one party. The other person, one person has already put down their wands, okay? The other person is still on guard. So there is a sense of defensiveness here. And I feel like it is a merry-go-round. We have this, floating around in circles. We have this very circular pattern of behavior and same issues coming up over and over and over again. And it is really important for us to address these things. So that's what I'm feeling for those of you who are dealing with a little bit of like a relationship snag. Listen to what your partner is saying, making the time for them, and doing the little things to kind of like it's like your partner. So for example, I feel like a lot of the times when we've been together with somebody for a really long time, the relationship becomes kind of like a routine. We tend to take the other person for granted. And on top of everything else that life is throwing at us, it's really difficult to bring back the fun, the newness, and the excitement in the relationship. And we're kind of set into what we want to do, what we don't want to do. And so if you have different interests from your relationship partner and they're really wanting to do this one thing that you don't really want to do, it's important to make that sacrifice, because it's not so much about the activity, is more about the gesture, wanting to share an experience with you, and they want you to be there with them to enjoy that experience, okay? They could go with their sister, they could go with their brother, they could go with their best friend, but they really want you to be there to share that experience with you. And I feel like that's where it really matters that you're making the time and the effort and trying to, show the partner that I want us to work. I want this to work. Career front, some of you are hitting some major, big career strides, okay? I have here the Six of Wands. This is a victory card. It's kind of like jumping over all opposition, slicing through in order to get ahead. And I feel like this has been, one of the things that has been really kind of on your mind, okay? Getting ahead. Stabilizing your financial future, getting promoted, getting recognized, being given more responsibilities because whoever you're dealing with, they know that you're capable. So getting recognition, I see some career advancements for you, okay? And I also feel like many of you might be in a position where you're dealing a lot with the public. And I'm not going to lie, I feel like some of you might be dealing with people who are very resistant. This is defensiveness, resistance, blocking out the truth. So for example, I feel like some of you might be in the healthcare profession, because what I have here is Judgment, Five of Wands, and all of these things indicates to me some type of dealing with a group or some type of a communication where somebody is not very receptive to it. And I'm seeing the sun here. It usually deals with like vitality. It deals with health. It deals with energy level. So for example, let's say you're a doctor and you're telling your patient, let's say you're dealing with somebody who is not in the best of health. And they're just like, doctor, what's wrong with me? And you're just telling them, well, You have to really focus on proper nutrition. You have to get more physical activities in. And then one excuse after another, they're telling you reasons why they can't really do things. And they're like, I'm overweight. My knees are hurting. I can't really exercise. And then they're just like, I have so much, so little time. I have a lot of kids I have to take care of. I can't really take care of, I can't really invest the time in and the resources in buying, food to cook because I don't have the time. I can't invest in a nutritionist. So I feel like you're dealing with someone who's very resistant. They know that they need to change, but one excuse after the other, they're finding ways to not change. Some of you could also be like in a position where you're dealing with subordinates, and you guys are very good at, identifying somebody's strengths and somebody's weaknesses. So if they're coming into your office because they're getting reprimanded and you're just like, here is how we can improve what you're doing. And they're just one excuse after another. They're telling you why they're doing what they're doing. And it's almost like talking to somebody who's very defensive. Who has like a rebuttal for everything constructive criticism that you're giving them. So it's a very counterproductive type of a situation. And so I feel like they know what they have to do. They know what they have to change about themselves, but they're so resistant. I see like this, digging their nails in and just refusing to budge, refusing to acknowledge that, wait a minute, I need to change. I need to do something differently. Everyone around me has been telling me, but I feel like there's somebody who's definitely very, very resistant to change and resistant to admitting or, you know, finally coming to the realization that there's something I'm doing wrong and I need to stop being so defensive. So I see that element coming through in the work environment. Work is looking really, really good for many of you. I feel like, the period of time where financial struggles, I feel like all of that is in the past. And then I'm also feeling like a new source of, I'm seeing like a new source of income, a new source. Like it's almost like being in a job where you're actually proud of the work that you're doing. So in the past, you might have been, shifting around from jobs to jobs or having jobs that might be contract based. And at the end of the contract, you're not really sure if things are going to get renewed. So I do see with this judgment card, new beginnings, which is like renewal of contracts, but also maybe you were working as a contractor and now you're being made permanent with this Empress card here, ruling your domain, having a lot more stability and having a lot more consistency when it comes to your income and revenue stream. So I do see some major uptick, a major kind of like a more stable energy coming into the work sector. What I'm also feeling as well is I do see there is an elephant in the room that needs to be addressed. And then I also feel like, I feel like for some of you, I don't know where this is coming from because, it's a couple. There's sort of like an awareness that something is off and then trying to find answers, trying to dig for answers, trying to get at the truth. But the other person that you're trying to get the truth from is not very cooperative. Okay, there's an energy here about I don't want to have this conversation. I feel like gaslighting somebody who might be in the wrong, and they're just like, I don't want to be exposed, so I don't want to have this conversation. I don't want to admit I'm doing anything wrong. I don't want to, even open the floodgates to have this conversation because I don't want secrets like spilling out. That's what I'm feeling here. Trust your intuition, Leos. If you're dealing with this in another person, trust your intuition, okay? Address that elephant in the room. Get it done and over with because I keep seeing this merry-go-round and it's not really serving its purpose. Let me see here if there's anything else coming into the picture. I do sense for some of you here, I feel almost like I feel almost like somebody wanting to like settle down, have a family. Okay, so it's like you or your partner. Somebody wants to settle down, have a family, have a something solid, have a child, getting pregnant, family planning, wanting to, like if you're serious with me, then let's move in together. Let's talk about taking the relationship to the next level. And I do see a little bit of resistance. And I feel like it's not because the emotions and the love and the feelings are not there. It's mainly because one person is trying to figure out and trying to stabilize their financial situation. One person is trying to find work that is a little bit more stable, a little bit more like, they're shifting around from jobs to jobs, and they're trying to find a career. And so they don't feel like in a position where they can have children because until they're stable. So it's not just, they're not giving you a no, or you're not giving them a no. It's just a matter of yes, but not right now. Okay? Or they're just saying no, not right now. But all you're hearing, and you can't help it, all you're hearing is no. So they could be telling you, no, not right now. We're not ready. I'm not ready. Financially, it's not sensible. Um, emotionally we're not mature enough, or, it's a lot of work and things like that. But all you're hearing is the no. You're not really hearing the reason and the rationale behind why they're giving you the answer that they're giving you. All you hear is a no. And you're just like, a little bit saddened, and there might be arguments over that. And I feel like it's really, really important for us to really hear everything that the other person is telling us, because they're telling us for a reason. Um, I'm seeing as well, there is a situation that is, I don't know, it's like a very slow moving partner. So for those of you who are not in relationships, okay, if you're like out there dating, and I feel like one person might be more interested in socializing. So this person is looking at the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is more socializing, more dating, more lighthearted fun. And then the other person is just like, no, I'm ready. I'm ready to settle down. I'm ready for, to take things to the next level. So I feel like you or your partner, one person is wanting to date, and then the other person wants to settle down. There might also be this apprehension, if you both have children from, other relationships, an apprehension about blending the family together. There might be age differences. You might feel it's too soon, or you might feel like there's some apprehension overall, and I also see as well, somebody's children are misbehaving. Somebody's kids are misbehaving. They're doing really well, I feel like, athletically. So they might be getting scholarships. They might be getting accepted into a school for their physical capabilities. Okay. And then I feel like you're trying to tell them, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You also want to develop yourself academically. And then the child might be like, oh, I know this is what I want, and I only want to go to this place because of the scholarship for sports, for example. So I see that element coming through. So, Leos, I hope the reading is helpful for you guys. I'm going to be doing the readings, possibly, just a monthly reading for February. And then I'll try to touch bases like around mid-month and do more videos if I have the time, okay? But I hope the reading resonates either way. Best of luck with everything, okay? And I'll see you guys soon.